All right, so we are now going to start over again because I thought I was recording and I wasn't recording. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this process right here. So we're going to build an authentication piece. This is your last piece of the puzzle. I'm looking for you to build the same thing. You're going to have, I'm looking for a different CSS. I want you guys to use the same stuff I have. I'm looking for you to have some type of menu here that clicks the different things that you've created throughout the semester. You know, I won't say easy peasy, but it's a good thing to use somewhere else. Like I said, don't use the same thing, call it something else. I don't care. So we're gonna get ahead and start for this. I started with this, but then realized it wasn't recording. So we're just gonna build out some files there that we need within PHP, and then we also need on top of that we need a database and so forth. So let's start off maybe with the database first. So I am going to, so I have the, you can use your MySQL. What I would recommend for this, I'm going to create a new schema and I'm just going to call it, uh, I won't call it authentication. I will call it PPU app. I don't think I have that here, but hopefully I don't. So I'll call PPU app. Perfect. Refresh. And let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, it's right there. Cool. So do a new SQL. Let me zoom this in a little bit so you guys can see. Hopefully this is good. Use PPU app. So that'll be the location that I use. What we need to do is set up some users. So we need to set up a user table. So let's do this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is create a new table, call it users, and parentheses, oops, there we go. And I'll put, I'll give it an ID. We'll call it integer, make it 11, make it not null. Next one we'll create a username and we'll do a var 80 and we'll make it not null. And then we'll create a name. So your name, we'll make it 80, also not null. We're gonna need a password. And this is also gonna be same thing, var 80. Usually I make these 50. I might change them up to 50. Because I don't think we need that much. Oops, what I did. All right, so password, not null. There, and then we'll do engine equals nation DB, B flag, and ODB, and then default flat and line. Don't think you need this, but I just put it anyways. Let's see if that works. Apparently, I have an error message here somewhere. You, what the heck's my error message? Copy row. You have an error message? Yes, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Man, of course, must be my SQL Server version for the right syntax and error users, blah, blah, blah. All right, whatever. So it's gonna be some weird error because of what I used. All right, so let's do this. If it likes that. Or we use the ticks. I don't think that's it, but whatever. Let's see. Usually that's what it is. Oops. All right, now what are we looking at here? We get that, not no. We get that engine check. All right, that looks good. So I use the button next to the one. If you hit it, it's a tick. See if it likes it. It liked it somewhat, but let's see if it actually accepted it. So let's refresh it. Yep, it accepted it. All right, cool. So ID, username, password. Now we need some values. So let's comment this out. Cool. And we'll do an insert into, I'll do the same thing, users. And we'll do ID. Then we need username. And we need name and password. Oops. There we go, just like that. And we need some values. And we'll do one. We'll just do JSON. Oops. What am I thinking? We'll just add a couple user accounts, nothing special. It's my name. And my password will be one. Oops. We'll do. You know what? I don't think the ticks will work like that. I think you're gonna have to do it this way. We'll see. And password will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll add another value. Just for the heck of it, we'll say a picket. And for some reason it doesn't like that. Why? Why not a second here? I think I know why. Oh, because I didn't put a tick here. I'm sitting there thinking, what is going on? All right, that should do it. We have two values. Oops, that should do it. All right, so let's do this. Run it. Adds it, hypothetically speaking. So let's query it. All from users. And boom. It did work. All right, cool. So that's the first step, is setting up your database so that you actually have a database, you have user accounts, you know, simple stuff that you've already did before. Now we need to configure this. So that'll probably be our first step, is going to our configuration now, which you guys already did this. So, all right, so let's come over here. I'm going to try to screen in a little bit. There we go. Hopefully you see it's better. So we'll do PHP. I'll zoom in one more just in case. We'll do session start. So you guys learned about that last week. So we're gonna do a session start here. So it creates our session. And then we're gonna build our host out, which in my case is 127. Yours might be local host. I have to do this because I have my local MySQL, and if there's the same name, it won't work. So I have to keep it that way. So that is my host name. And then I have my username, which happens to be root, which should be everyone's username. So that's my user. Then I have my password, which equals this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then and we need our database number, name, db name equals. We need to give it a value, so we call it PPUF, I think. So that's our database. So let me copy and paste this and change the descriptions there. So this is our user. This is our password. And that's our database. Perfect. All right, so now we need to build a connection. So CON equals I can't type like that. MySQL connect. And then we'll pass in the host, we'll pass in the user, we'll pass in a password, and we'll pass in the DB name. We'll close out, we'll validate the connection. Validate connection. And we'll say if the connection die. So if it does, we'll do die connection fails. So if it doesn't like it, it'll fail. And we'll do MySQL connect like that. And we'll do error message. Local close, and we'll exit. So that should be our config file right there, guys. Save that. Boom. Oh, what's it give me error message for? It doesn't like that for some reason. Host equals 127.0.0.1. Why did I like it? Because you know why? I don't think I ended the PHP. I think that's it. Okay, let's close it. Still doesn't like it. New problem, no quick fixes. Expects host. What am I doing wrong? So let me rewrite this. That is, oh, I know what it is. Shows me. I don't have a semicolon here. I think that's it. Let's save it. Oh my God, what is going on? Now it's this. It's one thing after another. So you fix one error, another one starts. All right. So let's see. If connection. Oops. So we have that right, I think. Die connection fail. Oh, I know what it is. Maybe I have to have a dot here. MySQL connect. Unexpected. All right, so doing wrong, guys. All right, so I think it's that message. I lost my mouse. All right, there it is. Let's do this again. So case sensitive, I guess. Dot. We need it. Emmet abbreviation. MySQL connect error. Sorry, but that's it. That's what I wrote last time. All right, so I'm going to copy what I wrote earlier. Let's see what I'm doing. Yeah. All right, so this is what I wrote earlier. So maybe I'm off a little bit. Yeah, it looks the same. That's where it looks exactly the same. Okay, I picked it up. Maybe I just needed to close out of it. That was tough. So that's our first part of it. Now the style, I'm just going to copy the code in, but I'm going to let you guys. I'm not going to go through and show you the style, but I'm letting you come up with your own style. But you'll kind of see what we have there for our code. First of all, this is where I want you to be creative, but I'm not going to create the code from scratch again on this part of it because this allows you be creative, but at least get an idea of the style. I think at this point we're all familiar with it. So, we have our login stuff that we're using here. I'm using gray. I'm using light green. You guys can use whatever you want to. So let's kind of scoom through this a little bit. So we have our container that we're building. You can modify that to your size. We have the login, which is a div tag, box shadow. So once again, you can do what you want to do here. We have the login, so that's the white and blue background that you guys are seeing. You could use what you want. I want you to be more creative than I was. Text box. This is something that you have to play around with. It might not be the same thing as I had. You could do something different. And then the input where I have like St. Green, you can do something as well. So this is up to you to make it better than I have it. That's because that's what you guys do. All right, so that's the style. Like I said, I wasn't gonna create that from scratch because we already have it. I'll use it. I'll do it again. So all we need is two screens here. We need an index page and a home page because this is our index page, which is our login, and then our home page is where we want our users to go to. So I'm gonna create two pages, index.php, and then I'm gonna create another one called home.php. So that way we have our two pages that we need. So that's a start. All right, so I'm checking my time that I've been recording because I have a restriction of how much time I can record on here. That it would tell me. All right, so our home and our index. So I think we're gonna do our index first because that's where the meat and potatoes lies with our coding aspect of it. So, all right, so let's go to index, and we're here. We're gonna zoom in a little bit, and we're starting. So PHP, and we need to include our configuration file here. So we need to include what we already did. It's big.php, perfect. And then we're going to say if the ISIT. We're looking for a post here. So post and open close brackets. We're going to button submit. You might have it called something different, but pretty much the same stuff. And we'll open close the bracket there. And we're going to do a username here. So we're going to say username equals MySQL. And then we're going to do I. And instead of connect, we're going to do real escape string. And then we're going to bring in the connection, the post. Oops. Well, I can't type it. Correct. Post, and we're going to bring in what I'm going to have. I'm going to define it as text username. You could call it something else. It's just pulling up the ID of that value. So all we're doing is bringing in that value that the user input in the screen. That's all. And I'm going to copy this, paste it here, and we're just going to change this to password. And we're going to have the same thing, string post. So we're just going to have our different value here. We'll call PWD for password. Okay. Now we're going to come down here and we're going to say if. We're going to do a conditional statement. We're going to say if the username doesn't equal nothing and the password doesn't equal nothing, we're going to do something, an action. So in this case right here, we're going to do a query. We're going to say SQL query equals, and we're going to do a count. So we're going to say select count everything as count user from users or username equals, and we're going to say uname dot. And so what we want to do here is we're just, I'll show you in a second here what we're doing. Give me a second. for MySQL. And I need to pull the screen up a little bit further too. So we're doing uname dot, then we'll do tick and password equals tick, oops, like that. Dot password. Dot. So let me see if I can find this here. Copy this. Oops. So we're at MySQL here. Okay. So if I do a new query and I say select count users, let's just do this right here. So we run this code, we have 2 users, and we say where username equals nothing and password equals nothing. So what do you think we get? We get the value C is 0. So that's what we're trying to do here, is we're trying to identify like in our code here, we're just trying to run this query and identify what value we get. Okay. So what we need to do is capture the result. We'll say the result equals MySQL I connect, or query actually, MySQL I query. And then we need to grab the connection so we can connect to the database. And then we need to grab the query so that we can identify what that query is in order to get the result. And then we need to build a row. So we're going to say row equals, we're going to do MySQL I fetch array. And we're going to grab the result like that. And now the last thing we need to do here is we need to count that information. We're going to say count every row that was provided. And then we grab count user like that. There we go. Perfect. Now we need to do one more conditional statement here. We're going to say if the count is greater than 0, which we want it to be, but we got to identify if it is. We're going to create that session again. So we have this session going here. Within the session, we're going to use the username. And we're going to do equals the username. And we're going to do a header. So we want to provide a header here. And we're just going to say location and home.php. If that doesn't work, we're going to do an else statement here. Let's say else. We want to echo something. We want to say invalid username and password. So I'll show you how that works in a second here, since I already did this once. So if I come back up here and I just put nothing and nothing here and hit submit. All right, let's put invalid username and password. So here's the thing I don't have here is I don't have something that's blank. So you could fix that for me in your code because I'm looking for the username here, but if it doesn't equal blank something, it's doing that. But you could put a conditional statement and say if username equals, if it equals blank, then put something like that. So you could put double things there. So you could make it even better than I have. So that would get you your invalid username that we're looking for here. Move this over a little bit. Should be that close to that. Let's. Yeah. All right. For some reason, I think we have an extra one there. Now we're going to do a closer PHP here, and we're going to do an HTML. I need to go down a little bit. So let's do this HTML. Heading. Title. This is our login page. And then we're going to need link our reference. So hyperreference equals, oops, we just want to put our CSS here. And relation equals style sheet. And then type equals text CSS. Perfect. And then we need to close our heading out. There we go. And now we need to control some other things. So we need to have like some other items in there, which builds out our, geez, where's my set? Right, there we go. Let's give it some room here. So we need to now have our body here. And we need to close our body. I'm not sure. Usually it has it for you, whatever. Anywho, so we need to have our div class that we already have in our CSS. If you remember, equals container. What I'm gonna do here before I forget, why is that there for? I'm gonna close this out and make sure I save it real quick because I don't have to do it again. But I will go back to, I think it's right here. So yeah, so you see where I had my container at somewhere. Yeah, so we're building that out. That's all we're doing right now. All right, so we have our container, that's fine. And then we're gonna have a form because we're making a submission here. Let's say form method equals post. And our action equals nothing. And then our div ID equals div login. And we're gonna have our H1 heading. I'll just say login. And we're gonna have a div tag here. And we need to have something here. So I'm gonna put that right there. Why did I want to do that for me? All right. Now we need an input. So we're gonna have something here. So type equals text. I'm not gonna do all this for you guys. I'm gonna let you figure the rest out instead of me doing this. But I'm just kind of building it up for you. So we're gonna have a text box there. ID equals, I call it text. Oops. Uname for username. Have a name, and I call it text. Oops. Uname again. And then I have a placeholder equals username. Okay. Like that. Now, you'll want to do that for other ones too. I'm not going to do all the code for you. And then you're gonna have a div tag ending here somewhere. We're gonna have to have I don't know what it always does that right there. We're gonna need to end our form. And then we have to end everything. So you have to end your body, you have to end your head, and so forth. I'm gonna leave that as is. So remember, you need this page in order to put your stuff. So I'm gonna save that. And I'm gonna go over to home. So like I said, I'm not gonna complete it because I'm gonna let you complete it. If I complete it, and I completed all your work for you. Home, all you need here is, I'll give you some hints. Obviously, you need a PHP page here. Okay. And so we need to end it here. You need some HTML here. So I'm not gonna put what you need, but HTML. Look at my page I did. Well, HTML, put it this way, this is the landing page. So you can make this not a cookie, anything that you want to make it here. Remember, you want people to be able to go to certain things. You also want to give them the ability to log out too. So you need to include the config.php. So, oops. So you need to include the config.php. Okay. And then you need to check if the session, I'll put it right here and let you figure it out. Check if the user login session is active or not. And then you need to create a way to log out. So how do you do that? You do an if on the iset and post. And then you need to destroy the session. So I'll let you try to figure that out as well. Other than that, that will get you your completed code. It'll allow you to, do this right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, submit. It'll allow you to see if I'm logged in or logged out, and log out just like that. And that's all I have, guys. This is the last piece of the puzzle. Best of luck. Thanks for your participation. And I look forward to seeing your videos. Thanks for watching. If you have questions, reach out. That's what I'm here for.